Class is in session. MLB hitting the books Monday, June the 30th. Ian Cameron and Connor Mack with you, fresh off another weekend, and we are ready to break down this Monday MLB slate. Short slate for this Monday, just a handful of games, but still some good opportunities out there. And let's jump right in. We'll begin with San Diego taking on Philadelphia. We've got Matt Waldron for the Padres and Wheeler in the sky keeps on turning. We've got Zach Wheeler for the Philadelphia Phillies. Philly minus 240 home favorites, 9 the total, shaded to the under. Phillies happy to get back home because they did not have a great road trip, albeit they did win the finale yesterday against Atlanta. But overall on this road trip, it was pretty tough. They didn't play well in Houston. And then, of course, they struggled a bit here against Atlanta. In this, actually, they took 2 or 3. The Saturday game.
Yeah, they got the last game
better for them in the Atlanta series. But back home where they've been at their best, Wheeler's got outstanding numbers at home. I don't trust Matt Waldron. I don't trust this San Diego team. In fact, I've been fading San Diego a lot lately on the road. In fact, I took Cincy a couple of times against the Padres over the weekend, and the Reds got it done for me, including yesterday with a walk-off win in the 9th inning. So I have no qualms fading the Padres on the road. The problem is, you got to lay a big number here. Maybe a Phillies run line. I could see this winning by margin. I don't know if this San Diego offense, which is not exactly thumping right now on the road, is going to do a lot of damage here against Wheeler at home. So I guess if I had to recommend something, maybe Phil's run line, minus 1.5, but nothing strong for me here. C-Mac, what do you think? San Diego, Philly.
Yeah, the line's huge here. When I look at this, I'm a little shocked it is 9. I thought with Wheeler, this would probably be an 8.5. So I go to the under. I mean, is Wheeler going to get hit here? I don't know. I think he pitches decent. I don't trust the Padres. And same thing with the Phillies. I mean, other than the first game where they scored 13 runs after scoring 1 in 3 in Houston, you just talked about, it just hasn't been very good. Now, they pulled out the 2-1 win. I had him yesterday, but Harper's back. That is always a big boost. That just came in today. He's back hitting third. So whether he makes an impact, but just having him in there, everyone's got to feel better. And I think it makes that lineup a little bit better and stretch it out. Bohm or Castellanos don't got to be the guy. They're not the guys. They're the 5-6 type hitters that they should be. So, yeah, I lean under in this game. I don't know what we get here from Waldron, though. That's kind of the big question mark. He's just kind of been down in AAA. El Paso, right? I think they're AAA.
I think Padres team total. Here's a good way to approach it. Maybe Padres team total under 3.5.
I looked at it. I just didn't fuck with the game. Yeah, I looked at that.
That's definitely a consideration. I like that even more because you're right. I do have some questions about what we're going to get out of Waldron here. His stuff hasn't always translated on the road. We'll see if that continues here tonight or not for the Padres. All right, next up, we've got the Cardinals and Pirates. Even money here, minus 110, both sides. 9 the total here in this game. Regression train, I think, is coming for Eric Fetty of this Cardinals team. Starting to see him get hit a little bit. And if you look at all his peripheral numbers, way higher than his ERA. Telling me that he shouldn't be where his ERA is right now. He's been very fortuitous. He's not pitching that great. And don't look now, but suddenly over the weekend, this Pittsburgh Pirates team started swinging their bats a little bit. And obviously this is not one of the better lineups, better hitting teams in baseball, but you can't complain when you pound out 30 fucking runs in 3 games over the weekend against the New York Mets. What a job by the Pirates sweeping the New York Mets. And thankfully I had the wherewithal to take, Pittsburgh throughout the weekend. I just thought the Mets, with how much they've struggled, that they were laying all those prices on the road. I thought there was value with Pittsburgh. Would they be good enough to get it done? And sure enough, they were. It's why it was such a good baseball weekend for me. It's taking Pittsburgh game in and game out. Now, I lean Pittsburgh here as well because I definitely want to fade Fetty. I think that rough start against the Cubs in his last start might be a sign of things to come. I think he's going to start to fade a little bit here as we go on. The problem is Andrew Heaney. You can throw him in that boat. He's kind of faded as well the last 2 starts. 14 runs allowed in his last 2 outings against Detroit and Milwaukee. That being said, he is at PNC, and his home ERA drastically better on the season. Andrew Heaney, the lefty here for the Pirates. So I do like the Pirates again here around even money. I think there's a reason why they're hitting the ball right now. So I like the Pirates a bit. I think this game could be an over as well. It's a warm night. Total's gone up from 8.5 to 9. Pittsburgh's starting to hit. The St. Louis Cardinals team, we've talked about how, their offense is in good form. Their sweep of the Guardians, they put up 21 runs in the 3 victories over the Guardians this past weekend. So I think both offenses in good form, and vulnerability and poor form out of both starters going into tonight. So I think overs, I like that even more, actually, the over in this game than I do Pittsburgh. C-Mac, what do you think here? Cards, Pirates.
Yeah, Pirates here flipped from dogs to favorites, sweeping the Mets. We'll see if the runs continue. It's going to happen at some point. We talked about these horrible teams. The bats are going to break out. Yeah, I'm glad. Mets, we talked about. I think they're a decent baseball team, but horrible schedule, and they took advantage early. But they have plenty of holes. Cardinals sweep the Guardians, another team of the Guardians sliding a little bit right now. Cardinals have been all right against lefties. One thing is both teams' bats have been pretty good, but I think both these pitchers pitch well here. I just think Heaney in the spot back at home where he's been at his best. After getting shelled those last 2 starts. And I think, was it just his last 2 or he had 3 straight on the road? I want to double check. This game's got some rain too. I just want to throw that out there a little bit. 3 straight on the road. So I think he gets back, and you're going to see the best of Heaney, which I can't remember exactly these last few starts on the road that I faded because I thought he pitched a little bit over his head to start the year. But I think he'd be decent. Fetty, I think he can do enough, unless Pittsburgh's just going to be – the bats just are going to go crazy again and they have a 5 or 6 run inning. I think it's a little bit lower scoring in this one. I like the Pirates too a little bit. It's just flips. If people grabbed it a little bit earlier, I think it was a move.
All right. Yankees and Blue Jays. Actually, this is a big series. Jays are 3 back in the AL East of the first place Yankees. We've got Carlos Rodon, the lefty for the Yankees. Mad Max Scherzer making his second start here for the Jays. Yankees minus 140 road favorites, 8.5 the total in this game. Look, Rodon's been excellent. I don't want to poke holes in that. There's nothing that tells you he hasn't been good. He's been maybe the best pitcher this season for the Yankees. Him and Fried, they've both been great. He's coming off a shutout over Cincinnati, a 3.72 ERA his last 5 starts, a sub-3 ERA overall. Here's one little bit of concern I would have, though. He faced the Jays 3 times last year. He gave up 14 runs, C-Mac, in those 14 innings against the Jays last year. And if you look at the Jays, first of all, their lineup is hitting very well the last couple of weeks, and especially against lefties. They currently rank top 5 in terms of OPS. That's it. OPS against lefties. Lately.
But everything from average to OPS, they're right there.
Yeah. So yes, Rodon's been great. And it's very difficult to bet against them. But this could be a tricky matchup. Jays are in good offensive form. They hit lefties pretty well. It's not a given he's going to just mow down this Jays lineup here tonight. I don't know what we're going to get from Max either, quite honestly. He was actually decent. I wouldn't say he was great. He was decent the first time we saw him. This is one where I lean a little bit to the over just because of, I think the Blue Jays might be able to do a little bit more damage than people think against Rodon, and I'm not fully on board with trusting Scherzer yet either. So, but again, the Yankees have not been swinging the bats nearly as well the last few weeks, but I still think they might be able to get some offense here. So I do lean over. From a side perspective, I think there's probably some value on Toronto. I don't know if I want to trust Scherzer that much, but Toronto's coming in here with a head full of steam and momentum, and I think there might be value on them as home dog. I'm not ready to lay a price with New York on the road, I'll tell you that. C-Mac, what do you think here? Yankees, Jays.
Yeah, it's a big series. We'll see what the Jays can do. Big 4-game series. Yanks took already this year 2 of 3. This price I looked up a little bit last night. Yankees have been good all year in kind of the 150 and lower, the 30 and 17. But you hit on Rodon. Jays just swing out back, took 2 or 3 again. I like the lineup. Guerrero's 8 for 12, rips him. I think he's looked. Kurt as well today have some good numbers. And what helps them, they're hitting lefties, and they don't strike out against lefties. Their strikeouts. That's one thing about this Jays team going through it, where they've been really, really good. So, yeah, I think they're alive here at this price. This is the wild card Scherzer. That's where the only thing, and maybe that implies that this will be an over. Like, I want to see him a little pitch more, and how it's going to. Like, I kind of want to fade him going on, but this is a gutsy guy. You know he's going to be pumped up for it. Does he still have it though?
Yeah.
Ultra. Oh, I mean, you want this guy with the ball.
Yeah.
Any big game for sure. I mean, he'll go till his arm falls off. Even that, I remember with the Dodgers there, he just paid till he said, "My arm's dead.
Yeah.
You got to take me out finally." So, I think the Jays are alive. Yeah, it's this good. The Yankees just kind of beat them up a little bit. Yeah. The last couple of years going through some stuff. So good game though, Yankees Jays.
Yeah, I just think in the price, there's a little value on Toronto. Again, sometimes Toronto in these big spots, we've seen them not perform well in the recent years. It seems like big series, and they don't always perform up to it. But they're 25-16 at home at the.
And what do we get from the Yankees? Just the bat's ice cold, and all of a sudden they break out yesterday. What did they score? 12 runs or something like that? 13
against the A's and that bad bullpen, but still, you got to.
And look, before that, they looked awful though. Those first 2 games, they didn't look great against that A's team. So yeah.
Yet they got shut out by Sears in the A's the day before, and then they get 12 runs. So it's feast or famine lately for the New York Yankees. That's for sure. All right, Cincinnati and Boston. We've got Burns here on the mound once again for the he was very impressive in his debut there. Chase Burns for the Reds pitching against the Yankees. 3 runs, 6 hits, 5 innings, pitched pretty solidly in that one. And then you've got Garrett Crochet for the Red Sox. Boston -170 home favorites, 8 being the total in this game. Now, I do fear a little bit going against Garrett Crochet because he's been very good. 2.1 ERA last 5 starts, 1 run or less in 4 of the last 5 starts, a 2.06 ERA overall in the season. But this Boston team, if you take out Crochet making the start tonight, they can't be someone that I'm ready to lay -170 with. Not a chance. The lineup is sketchy. Bullpen stinks right now for the Boston Red Sox as well. No way can I lay this price with -170, even though Crochet's been very good. I lean Reds. I would take a shot with the Reds. Reds are playing better ball. Now, some of it's been at home. They've still got to show they can go on the road and be able to get some W's. They have a 1 game below 500 road record, but they're coming off 2 of 3 against the Padres. They took 2 of 3 against the Yankees last week. Burns was pretty solid in his first outing, 8 strikeouts and 5 innings. That's what you like to see. You got swing and miss stuff from him, and there's a lot of swing and miss in this Boston lineup right now. I mean, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world to take a shot with the Reds here, +150, even with Crochet pitching really well. C-Mac, what do you think here? Reds, Red Sox.
I think if it happens, it's a low-score game. This is a move, though. There's all this under money. There's been some big over bets here in the last just 30 minutes, 45 minutes, because all 8s now, where it was basically there wasn't any 8s, maybe 1 hanging around all day at 7.5. I gotta think Burns can pitch well just because the Red Sox
might be a good look. Yeah.
Burns though, it's his next start. When I was going, he's at Philadelphia in his next one. Just because I don't know what we get from this Red Sox team. Everything that's going on. If they get going, a Bray or Story, Durant, Anthony, but I don't know if that could happen. And Burns has electric stuff. This guy has just zipped through the minors, dominant Tennessee, then went to Wake Forest, was even more dominant there. I think he'd be good again. He's going to get hit here. There's going to be the welcome to the big league moment. I don't know if it's today. The Reds don't hit lefties. So I think Crochet, he's been dominant at home and on the road. If the Reds put up 4 runs, I take it. Their team total under, I think, is the move. I don't trust them. Now, that was a big win yesterday. The bats were kind of cold. They pulled it out against the Padres. But this team's 29th against lefties basically all year. They've kind of moved up a little bit, then right back down. On base, the slugging is just pretty low. So as long as Crochet isn't walking and give up a big hit, I think he keeps him in check.
All right, Athletics and Rays. We've got Jacob Lopez, the lefty for the A's, Drew Rasmussen for the Tampa Bay Rays. Tampa minus 180 home favorites, 8 the total here in this game. Rasmussen's usually a bet on pitcher for me. Backed him a lot this year. Very, very solid. Again, I think cashed a ticket with him against Kansas City in his last start. Very solid again. 2.73 ERA for him in his last 5 starts. The Rays are 4-1 in Tampa in Drew Rasmussen's last 5 starts. But how about Jacob Lopez? Where did this come from? I didn't think this guy was any fucking good, a few weeks ago. And now all of a sudden, he's entering this start, giving up just 1 earned run, 1 in his last 23 innings of pitching over the last 4 starts. 1 earned run. Baltimore, Kansas City. And there's some good teams in there. Houston and Detroit were the last 2 starts for Jacob Lopez, and he shut them down too. So maybe he's found something. I give him credit. I didn't think he was that good. Now all of a sudden he's lights out here for the last 4 starts. So maybe there's an under with these 2 teams and 2 pitchers with the form they're in. I was looking at Tampa, but I respect the way Lopez is pitching. I don't want to lay minus 180, but I don't fade Rasmussen or this Rays team right now. They've been very good. Pass for me here. C-Mac, what do you think? A's, Rays.
I think it's Rays here or nothing. I just worry about Lopez. He's just been so good, and you talked about the last 2. It wasn't with the Tigers. Maybe it was one of the games. Yeah, he just dominated. But there's most pitches in the game, 103. And another start here on the road, even though it's semi-road here for the Rays. I worry he could get hit, but this is going from 8.5 to 8. Yeah, maybe it's just Rasmussen's just been lights out. It's just like go out, go 5 innings, gives up 1 run, and he's out of there. So I think he could do that easily today.
All right, Baltimore and Texas. Trevor Rogers for the Orioles, Patrick Corbin for the Rangers. We've got Baltimore, slight road favorites. I guess close to even money, actually. The total here, 8 across the board. Patrick Corbin, I give him credit. He's pitched pretty solid most of the year until the last couple of starts where we've started to see the old Patrick Corbin resurface again. 9 runs, 15 hits allowed in his last 10 innings versus Baltimore. They just faced Baltimore and they got to him. And then Kansas City, who's not a great lineup, and Kansas City got to Patrick Corbin a little bit a couple of starts ago. Meanwhile, Trevor Rogers, I have to give him credit here in this rotation. He's made a couple of starts here in June, and including one in May, and he was pretty solid. Excellent against this Texas team. 8 strong innings of shutout ball against Texas. And don't look now, the Orioles, they're not good. They're too far back to make the playoffs, in my opinion. But they did take 2 out of 3 over the weekend against a red-hot, surging Tampa Bay Rays team. Signs of life. They scored 22 runs in one of the games versus Tampa this weekend. I definitely give Rogers the advantage based on what I've seen in recent form over Corbin. So I think Baltimore's the side here. I like the Orioles. I think they're slight road favorites for a reason. And sometimes you just can't trust Texas to score either. Not to mention, look back at the game yesterday. They lose an extra inning 6-4. They have to use all their key relievers. They just saw one of their better relievers, Bradford, out for the rest of the season with an injury for Texas. So there's some concerns that bullpen spent after yesterday's game against Seattle. So that could be problems for the Rangers here later in the game tonight. So I like Baltimore here. I think they get the job done. C-Mac, what do you think? Orioles, Rangers.
Yeah, when I first looked at Baltimore. I can't take them at this price. It just, both these teams just played each other. That kind of just crosses this off for me as well, where Corbin gets hit around for 5 and Rogers looks great. And he goes, 8 innings, didn't give up anything. I think he could get touched up a little bit. Seager's had a couple homers the last few games. Will the Ranger offense bust out? And both these teams, though, basically all year, bottom third, they're around 28th, 25th, and all those key numbers against lefties. So this one was tough for me. I kind of now, after going through it, like the Rangers, I just can't take Corbin here. And they just saw each other. So I'm off.
Yeah, Corbin's starting to, the shine is starting to come off Patrick Corbin a little bit here. The last few starts, no doubt. All right, NL West battle. San Francisco Giants, Arizona Diamondbacks. We've got Logan Webb for the Giants, Ryan Nelson for the D-backs. San Francisco minus 135, road favorites, 8 the total in this game. Logan Webb, I feel like we talk about Logan Webb, it's the same things over and over again. You can't hit the guy at home. On the road, he's a little bit more susceptible. He's got a 1.85 ERA his last 5 starts, but his road ERA is like over 3, closer to 4. So, again, on the road, he's a little bit dicey. Now, he did face Arizona last year 3 times and pitched very well, did Logan Webb. Ryan Nelson, we got to start giving him a little credit. Here in the month of June, the last 3 starts in particular, he's been very good. He's given up 2 earned runs in his last 15 innings. Very, very strong. White Sox, Jays, and Padres in those starts. Very solid. I think there's some value with Arizona as a home dog here, quite honestly. Let's not forget San Francisco. They're a good team. They're in the mix. They're a below 500 road team. It's another team that a lot of their damage has been in San Francisco. They're not a great road team, the Giants. And it's not good when you're losing 2 in a row to the White Sox either. That's another reason why I'm not rushing to lay a price on the road with San Francisco. Plus, as I've said, Webb is just not historically as good away from San Francisco. So I think Arizona could be live here. I'm on Arizona first 5 full game money line. I agree with Robert in the chat. I think the team total is cheap, over 3.5 for Arizona. I think they can go over that team total. I like all things Arizona here. I think good spot. And San Francisco's got to travel too from Chicago. Not easy. C-Mac, what do you think here?
Yeah, I talked about this last night on the show. I think they're alive, and that's why it's dropped. Webb, after having 4 of 5 starts, 3 straight at home, perfect spot to kind of fade him. Now, is he good enough to still go out and maybe give up a couple? Yeah, Giants do have a solid bullpen. Arizona,
I like the team total most of all. I like the team total most of all, just because that bullpen for Arizona is still very, very sketchy.
That's the problem. I think you just stick with that because I mean, they just continually blow leads. I mean, against the Marlins this weekend, it was crazy to see. Shout out to the Fish for getting it done. And Marlins scoring some runs too, that lineup. But yeah, that's I just think this game, I think it goes over. There is a few 8s.
Yep.
Yeah, there's some 8s now, so I think he gets over the 8.5 here. And you know what I think? Because of that, the Giants can get some runs. Nelson's has been pretty good. One thing with Webb, we talked about his start last year was very good. Here, I think he just had 2 at home, 1 in Arizona. But go back to 2022, 23, 21. He's gotten hit here. He's given up 4 runs, 3 runs, 4 runs. I was going through it. So, yeah, I think we get some runs. I think Arizona's live. Tough to take them. So, yeah, I think maybe the team total just might be the look here.
Yeah, I agree. I like that team total for Arizona here for sure. All right, our last game on this short, abbreviated slate on this Monday, it is Kansas City and Seattle. We got Michael Waka Flocka Flame for the Royals and George Kirby for the Mariners. We've got Seattle minus 160, home favorite, 7.5, the total in this game. Feels like this could be a pitcher's duel. Kirby starting to get his form back a little bit, and Waka's been pretty steady, pretty consistent. Now, I do like Waka a little bit more at Kauffman than I do on the road, but still do like his overall numbers on the season. 3.33. Like I said, with George Kirby for the Mariners, I thought he had one of his best starts since he's been back. 1 run in 6 innings against Minnesota in his last start. Just was victimized by no run support. I mean, this definitely feels like an under waiting to happen. Don't see either team lighting up the scoreboard here. God, if Kansas City could even hit a lick, and man, it's difficult for them at times to score runs. I would maybe take a shot with the Royals here because I do think it's a pretty expensive price on Seattle here. Coming off a game where they had to use the bullpen quite a bit, beating Texas yesterday. So I think there's some value on KC, but the problem is you got to trust them to hit, and it's not easy to trust them to hit. C-Mac, what do you think here? Royals, Mariners.
Yeah, I just haven't bet this yet. Is the under. I think it's an under in this game. I think Kirby pitches well. Both these teams after, the Dodgers, and you talked about with the Rangers, it just seems like a sleepy spot. The Royals, unless the bats just all of a sudden wake up. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Royals team total under. I think Kirby will be good here. He had to go through some struggles there. He didn't really have much to start out the year dealing with that, and they just bring him right in. It's like one minor league start, you're up, and he got lit up And Waka is still, even on the road, guy's just crafty. And I don't know what we get from the Seattle offense. So I haven't bet it, but that's what I've been looking at all day, is this under.
All right, good stuff indeed. All right, Jack of the day, I agree with what the chat's saying. I think Ketel Marte for Arizona. I don't mind that one.
Yeah, I looked at him.
That's a good one. I like O'Neal Cruz for Pittsburgh against Betty. With the Pirates team starting to hit a little bit, I think that's not a bad option. Vlad potentially to go yard tonight against Rodon for the Blue Jays. Barger we talk about. Nick Kurtz. How do you not bet Nick Kurtz these days for the Athletics? Man, they've got something in this guy offensively with what he's been able to show for them of late. So those are a few that I like. Any home run props, Jack of the day for you, C-Mac?
You already hit on Vladdy. I put one out. I'm on Simeon here. I think this is a good spot. Just talking about Seager's getting going. So, he's been hitting a little bit. I always like him better against a lefty, too. Rogers just shuts him down. I think he's live. I got his RBI plus 180, the Jack's plus 600. So I like him there. You talked about, I think Marte, another huge price just because they're thinking going against Webb. Without the best numbers, I think he's 5 for 24, but the guy's hot. He's at homer the last 2 or 3 days, and his RBI is 215, and his homer's plus 600. So, when you see that with a guy that's hitting, I think it's worth a look. Or even Smith or Naylor. It's kind of guys that I think maybe with Webb on the road, they could get him. Look to those guys for the D-backs.
Good stuff. All right. Awesome. All right. Best bets to wrap things up on this Monday. C-Mac, what do you like for best bet?
Yeah, I gave it out earlier. So you could take the 3.5. I'd take it as the Reds team total under, but I took the 2.5. Reds team total under 2.5 plus 130. I'll dare them to hit Crochet today.
All right, there you go. Good stuff indeed. We missed Friday's show. It's just the way it went. Got the Ticat game Friday, so we didn't have a show. So the reason I bring that up is because I'm going to give you 2 best bets tonight. I don't do that very often, but make up for Friday, we'll give you 2 tonight. And plus, can't really choose between them. I like them both. So I'm going to go Baltimore minus 110 against Texas for one of them. I just like the price. They started to show a little pulse against a very good surging Tampa Bay team over the weekend. Corbin is starting to falter again, as we expected him to. We said he can't keep doing this all year. He's not that good. And finally, Corbin is starting to falter. So I like Baltimore there, minus 110 against Texas. And I like that Arizona team total, over 3.5 against San Francisco. We'll go with that for my other best bet. So 2 best bets, one side, one money line, one team total. Baltimore minus 110 and Arizona team total over 3.5, minus 115. There you go. A couple of best bets here on this Monday for the MLB slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Joey Moses, Robert Carlson. Appreciate all you guys. GNL Photo, Goryan Ninkovsky, Way of the Cage, Nick Alvento, Old E, Tim Montana. Appreciate all of you. Rem Most.
Appreciate it.
Timothy Hake, Old E. Appreciate everyone in the chat joining us. Hit the like button. We appreciate it very much. And shout out to Robert Carlson, who's a big Ice Guys viewer for my hockey show as well. Cashed in apparently with Aldrich Potgeider yesterday in the Rocket Classic PGA at 100 to 1. So great call on that.
Oh yeah,
there's a few
wild
people
playoff
on him. Yeah,
really.
Yeah, good for him. Good job. Yeah, Rocket Classic. I know it's the John Deere, a Deer Run, TPC Deer Run in Illinois this week, and then it's off to the Open Championship, I think, after that. So there you go. Still some good golf coming up. Thanks to everyone for joining us. We should be on all week this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, the remaining days. So make sure you join us. Hit the like button. All-Star break and beyond, we're going to start covering some college football preview for the upcoming season. So stay tuned for that. We're excited about that. So lots coming up here on the channel. Shout out to all of you guys. Hit the like button on the way out and spread the word about the Hitting the Books show and the Hitting the Books YouTube channel. For Connor Mack, I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Monday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will be back with you tomorrow on Tuesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific for another edition of the MLB Hitting the Books show. Until then, class dismissed.
Peace.